my personal experience is staying connected, share a little bit about what schools are doing to stay connected, and then institutions and governments in our region and beyond, what initiatives are being taken to keep parents, students, and educators connected at this time. So this is an imagery that I can relate to. I don't tie up my kids at home, but sometimes I'm tempted to. I have 2 boys, and the last 2 weeks have been challenging because even though I work virtually, now I have the added challenge of sharing my virtual space and my workspace with the rest of my family, my husband and 2 boys. But I think it's been an opportunity for me to connect with my family and take a more balanced approach to life, because I travel quite a bit. And so these last 2 weeks have been a great bonding time for me and my family. So there's been some positives with all that's happening. I think it's also a time for parents to appreciate teachers more. I don't know if you've all seen this imagery, but as parents, sometimes we lack the ability to keep our kids in check. We try really hard, but this is when we appreciate the work of teachers, because they have the amazing knack of handling 25 students up to, in some cases, 100 kids if you're looking at a public school, and through behavior management and classroom management, keeping the kids engaged in the class. And so I think this time, parents really appreciate the work of teachers, and kudos to all of you who do amazing work in your classrooms. Parents appreciate you more. I just want to share also that, this global education monitoring report that came out in March 2020, just this month, talks about the effect on COVID on all of us, and particularly our learners, our students. I know recently my youngest son, who is 9, we are in week 3 now of being at home. And last week, he got very emotional and was crying because he missed his friends. And I had to take time to pause and do a dance with him, do something fun with him, pray with him, just to help him to handle the emotional challenge of being separated from his friends. And I know that we are all going through different emotional valleys and ups and downs with what's happening, and just being conscious of the fact that emotional and mental well-being is extremely important during this time. And I'm looking forward to Sanju's presentation on well-being. I hope we can all stay for that, because I'm sure we can learn and benefit from how to maintain our mental wellness at this time. So I want to share now, and just before I share a few examples of schools, I really want to commend Estelle and Conrad for this initiative, because we are learning through this platform e-pedagogies. We are moving from pedagogy to e-pedagogy. And as educators, how do we improve our practice? And I'm really excited to hear from the other educators who will be sharing what they're doing in the classroom to improve our practice, whether it's economics or science or teacher coaching, how we can all improve our practice in the weeks and months to come, and obviously when we go back to our school communities. But I want to share about one school that I'm quite familiar with, Arayan International School. And there are dozens of schools around the world doing great things. I just have time for a few schools. So I want to share 2 schools that I'm in touch with and I know quite well. And Arayan International School in Ghana, I like the approach, because I believe that they're looking at meeting the needs of parents, of teachers, of their students. And through initiatives such as, a motivational Mondays to their school psychologist who records a video, to a reflection from the principal after the virtual learning, week 1 of virtual learning, to art therapy. My 9-year-old who attends the school was doing a dance with the aerobics instructor last week. Again, importance of keeping our kids doing some sports, even though they're home. And so I like the approach of, really thinking through, how do we take care of parents? How do we take care of students? How do we take care of educators during this time? And they have this really neat initiative. Their PYP coordinator, I don't know if she's online, Sandeepa, has this fun 5-minute challenge called Sandy's Surprise. She has a lovely song to go with it. And the kids have to, solve a challenge, which she throws at them every day in a video recording. So another school that I want to highlight here is Red Hill School. It's a school in South Africa. And I don't know about you, but as a parent and as an educator, I've been inundated with resources of virtual and learning and online learning experiences, and it's been hard to decipher what's useful, what's not. And what radio does is on a, I think, daily basis or every 2 days sends a parent resource, whether it's how to cook, how to do math, how to go on virtual museum tours in other parts of the world. And it's really breaking down to parents what resources they can use at this critical time as they're providing education for their kids at home. Another example, ENCO Education, which has a string of schools around the continent, really emphasizing the importance of communication and making sure students communicate with their teachers at this time. And of course, the organization I work with, the International Baccalaureate, providing means to connect its educators. If you're not already a part of the program community, please join it. This is the time to connect with your colleagues on programs under My IB. The IB Community Log is a good resource because you hear from educators in the Asia Pacific region who have been doing virtual learning for about, I would say, the last 2 months, and they're sharing their practices. And more recently, an initiative that I'm really excited about is really looking at starting up a virtual association for IB schools. So watch this space, and if you're interested, please reach out to me. We hopefully to be kicking this off in the next few months. Some other associations, ASA has a dedicated website to provide information and resources at this time. This is an initiative from a company in Ghana that set up an e-platform. So people are becoming innovative in these times, which is good. The Ghana Education Service is providing video, TV classes and an online platform for students to stay engaged. And then UNESCO has a whole string of resources on its website for distance learning to support distance learning. And from that UNESCO site, I found this really neat resource on African storybooks. I downloaded one and practiced my Ghana reading skills, which is one of the languages I speak. And it's a great resource. You have 189 languages and over 1,000 storybooks to use. This is another initiative I'd like to highlight. This has been going on for the last 2 years. It's called the Amala School. It's an initiative by United World College graduates who are providing an education opportunity for refugees. And it's a 15-month high school diploma, which will be launched this year. Inshallah, God willing, all things being equal, in Kenya and Jordan. And so if you're interested in this initiative, please let me know or visit their website. I can connect you with those leading this. But again, this is something that has been happening, but is really addressing a need and using online learning and virtual learning to accommodate and meet the needs of displaced communities around the world, and a wonderful initiative. So just some few simple tips. I think we as educators, as teachers, understand that we need to be flexible in this time period. School is now outside the classroom and the school setting. It's in the homes. We should, keep our lesson plans simple, and communication is key during this time, looking for ways to communicate with our students. And I know colleagues in this conference will share ways in which they communicate with their students as well. And obviously, through all that's happening, again, commending Ali for this initiative, we are able to connect. I don't think very few of us have had this opportunity to have a virtual conference. So this is really fantastic, where we can connect and expand our network. I'm going to make some new friends from all over the world through this online conference. And I don't know about you, but also discovering the plethora of online resources that are available to all of us through this pandemic and beyond. And obviously the opportunity for us to all learn from one another, whether we are virtually visiting classrooms or speaking with one another. I'm sure we can grow in our practice as educators. And finally, just seeing the common humanity that we are all sharing in these difficult times. And I just want to end off with a poem, and please bear with me as I read this. I love literature, and finding this poem, I wanted to share with you because I think it touches at, and I think it would resonate with all of us. It's a poem by an educator, a teacher, a retired teacher, Kitty Omiera, who is based in the US, and she was talking about just finding it difficult to support others during this time. And so her husband said, right. And she wrote this poem, which has gone viral, but it's really an expression of what we hope would happen with everything that's going on right now, and what we hope we would gain from these experiences. So bear with me as I read this to all of you, as we reflect on our experiences. And it's untitled, but it starts off with, and the people stayed home and read books and listened and rested and exercised and made art and played games and learned new ways of being and were still and listened more deeply. Some meditated, some prayed, some danced, some met their shadows, and the people began to think differently. And the people healed. And in the absence of people living in ignorant, dangerous, mindless, and heartless ways, the earth began to heal. And when the danger passed and the people joined together again, they grieved their losses and made new choices and dreamed new images and created new ways to live and heal the earth fully as they had been healed. And so we are hoping that through all of these times, we are reflecting, we are meditating, we are growing as individuals, as educators, and that we will all heal through this time, and the world would as well heal through this time. Thank you.